Hey everyone, Not Dead Yet here, and today I want to tell you the story about the toughest man I have ever met in my entire life. The story takes place a couple of years back, where I was still teaching and training at my father's boxing club. And one day, business as usual, but this kid comes into our club. He's a tiny kid, scrawny. He came up to about here on me at the time, and pale as a ghost, like paler than anything you've ever seen, skinny as all hell. You could wrap your hand around his skin and bone. To give you guys kind of a visual here, this kid looked like the human equivalent of a Tim Burton character. And the kid had a whole host of issues too, like he had digestive issues, he couldn't digest gluten and lactose, childhood arthritis, like he was scrawny and weak to the blind eye. But he came in saying he wanted to box, and we're not going to turn anybody away. Anybody who's interested in learning how to box will teach. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, boxing's a great sport. Anyone is welcome to learn it, right? But little by little, I became more and more impressed with this kid. Week after week, this kid would show up early, wrapped, and ready to go. He would outwork everyone in the club. He wasn't always the strongest or the fastest, but he was always giving it, like 110% every class, and his growth improved immensely. He became an incredible boxer and an incredible counterpuncher at that, which is really interesting because that's a style that's focused mainly around using your opponent's strength against them, and he was determined to work despite his limitations. He was a tiny kid, and he wasn't the strongest, but he worked so hard that none of that really mattered. He became one of the best fighters that ever stepped into my boxing club. Now there's this drill we used to do at my old club, and that was we would take a medicine ball, hold it over our heads, and run an obstacle course around the gym. Now, whenever we did this, there was actually a prize for people who would be able to catch up to me and pass me. I would be at the front of the pack, and anyone who could pass me, who could catch up and pass me, would get 1 month free at our boxing club. And there were some people who didn't even try. Some people who just said, I don't care, I don't want to give this. Maybe they were just tired that day, maybe they just didn't feel like it, right? Maybe they were just tired from the workout and said, screw it, I'm not even going to try for the free month. That wasn't this kid. This kid, every time we did that drill, I would look behind me and see him sprinting as hard as he could to try and catch up to me and pass me. Every single time, without fail. And he never did it. No one did, actually. I refused to let that happen. I'm very competitive, and I was the type of person that I don't care how big, strong, or fast you are not passing me. But this kid always tried. He always gave it. And here's the thing, even though he never ended up passing me, he started eventually passing others, and he eventually became to be like second or third behind me. Like, I'd look behind me and he was the guy hot on my tails, or there would be one other person and then him. And that was insane. This little kid with all these issues ended up becoming one of the best and strongest people in the club, who could pass people who were, like, he passed welders and lifeguards and other people who came here who were supposed to be super in really good physical shape and conditioning. And he outworked all of them. And even though he never caught up to me, he was one of the people that I respected the most because he always put in the most effort to catch up to me. It didn't matter how tired he was, how bad he felt that day, or how brutal the workout was at our club that day. He was always gunning for me. And that is something that I will always respect, no matter what. He, just through pure work ethic alone, he rose to the top. It was incredible. And even despite his limitations, he was still looking for ways to get stronger. I remember his parents talking to my dad about things like workouts he could do at home to help improve and get better and get stronger, and then different drills that he could take with him outside of class to become a better boxer in his own time. Despite his massive digestive issues, like, again, lactose intolerance, he was asking what protein powders he could use. Like, you know, I assume he probably wouldn't be able to digest whey, so we were trying to figure out what proteins he could use, what might be beneficial, what might flare up some of his issues. And he was always super passionate and super hardworking, and I just, looking at him, you wouldn't have guessed how tough this kid was and how strong this kid was. And eventually, All this culminated in him actually stepping into the ring. After about a year, he decided that he wanted to fight, and we said, okay, we'll get you a fight. We were able to find someone in his weight class, and ultimately he went and had a fight. He stepped in and fought against someone from an opposite gym. I can't remember if he won or lost. It doesn't really matter in the end whether or not he won or lost, because he did it. He stepped into the ring. He joined an elite club that very, very few people will ever be able to say that they joined. Anyone who steps into the boxing ring deserves respect, because it takes immense courage to step into the ring one-on-one alone and fight someone. You're walking towards a place where you know that you could get hurt, and that there is someone standing across the ring and their goal is to hurt you, and there's no one to help you. There's no team. There's no one to shark the blame, no one to take any of the stress off of you. It is all on you. And he showed that courage comes in all shapes and sizes. He showed that strength and tenacity and grit comes in all strength and sizes. And again, he was the type of guy that you would underestimate from looking at him. That you would never think, oh, this guy is strong or tough or big or whatever. You'd write him off. But honestly speaking, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with that guy. He is the most tenacious and strong man I have ever met in my entire life. He is someone I will never ever forget. And the reason why he actually stopped boxing and stopped coming to the gym was because he eventually had to move out of the city. You would have never guessed how tough he was and how tenacious he was. I wouldn't want to fight someone like that. He is the type of person that even if he's going to lose, even if he's up against someone who's a much bigger and stronger opponent, he will fight you to the death. His work ethic is better than 99.9% of people, of anyone I've ever met. He had all the reason not to do it. Every excuse in the book. Childhood arthritis. I'm small. I'm weak. I have all these digestive issues. I can't get bigger. I can't get stronger. And he used none of them. He came in, worked hard, outworked anyone, and joined the ranks of some of the most elite people in the world, in my opinion. And those are those that have the courage and bravery to set foot into that ring. So, I leave you guys with this. And this doesn't just apply to boxing. This is just a general question about training, exercise, and, going after whatever you want in life. If that kid can do it, when he had every reason in the world not to, what's your excuse? I'm not dead yet. And if you aren't either, there's always a tomorrow waiting for you. Be like that kid. Go out and take it. He is someone I will never forget, and every day I aspire to be like him.